Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the My Two Bits Gators Football Podcast. It is our first episode of this podcast where Billy Napier is not the coach at Florida. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, joined as always by your other host, Mr. Randy. Randy, how we feeling? How's it going?
Surreal. Surreal. We knew this day was coming. We didn't know when or how. Obviously, it needed to be sooner than later. Again, folks, for the record, Billy Napier, good guy, good man.
Yes.
Just again, the X's and O's on the offensive side of the football and the product on the field on the offense on Saturday could not cut the mustard. And it's a shame, but it is what we make of it, and we will move on.
That's right. And I think it's an important call out here before we get started to say that nothing that we're going to say about Napier tonight is a reflection of him as a person.
Yes.
As a quality human being, wish him nothing but the best. This is not a reflection of anything personal. This is a business decision. College football, make no mistake about it, is a business. And I feel for anyone emotionally who loses their job, no matter what kind of golden parachute they might have, right? Because at the end of the day, that is a tough thing to go through. It is very, very difficult, no matter what kind of stipulations are attached, because ultimately, it's just not an easy experience. And so this is not something where I am taking any kind of joy in that from a personal or emotional standpoint. But as a business standpoint, that's a very different conversation. And that's the aspects that we're going to be focused on tonight. So I want to make that clear right out of the gate. So this is not a gleeful celebration of somebody losing their role. So right from the jump, let's get that out of the way. Having said that, let's get things started with our intro, our mission, our accuracy disclaimer, our vision, and our agenda. As always, we will be, of course, reviewing the game with Mississippi State and, of course, touching on the news that came after. So our mission, as always, is to provide factual analysis of all things Florida Gator football. Our accuracy disclaimer is that our information will be accurate to the best of our possible ability. We'll cite our sources whenever we use them, and all statistical data either comes from ESPN or stats.ncaa.org, and recruiting data comes from on3.com. Our vision is to have unfiltered conversation around the product on the field, as well as recruiting and overall coaching decisions. Our analysis will be based on review of film, and while we will express opinion, that opinion should always be based in some form of fact. We will also evaluate strategy and tactics and discuss our observation of player personnel decisions as well as on the field execution. Okay, our agenda, as always, for the review of the game, we'll start with our home eyes for our exciting plays of the game. Go through those, then we'll talk about the offense in the chomp segment, the defense in the gator bait segment. We will then go through our gripes from the game and our visor throws segment, though that's going to be a little modified for me tonight. I'll explain when I get there. Hatchlings will be our recruiting segment, talk about what news we have there. Obviously, there can be some developments with that, but nothing yet. We will then talk about culture and Pride of the Sunshine, going to play a very important role as we move forward. Officiating and move back, you suck. And then we will wrap things up and talk about where we go from here, review our keep it or pitch it results, but no keep it or pitch it to play this week because, of course, we are heading into the bye, and no Sims either from NCAA 26 because, again, bye week, no game. So with that, let's get things started and get into our exciting plays from Saturday. Randy, take it away with your home eyes from the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, B. I did have several, and again, to my commitment to this year, this season, I'm not going to cheat. Narrative down to 3. First one we'll go with. Florida's third possession, less than 1 minute, 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Lagway is going to be elusive, roll out, and find Mizell for a great pitch and catch. And then Mizell gets some yak. So
yeah, he did.
I believe in the text message you sent me, it looked like vintage Lagway or Lagway of 24 in the 24 campaign.
Indeed.
So
yes, indeed.
Great to see him be elusive, feel the pressure, roll out, and just deliver a dime. Because obviously he did have a couple of high throws in this game, and it was what it was. But great play, and then Mizell, the wherewithal to just turn, put his foot in the ground, and go and get some yak. So great there. My second one, staying with the wide receiver theme, Gators' fourth possession, 49-yard bomb to VB3. Kid's got hands. Kid's got speed. He has a knack for finding the football, sniffing the football, and Lagway obviously has the ability to throw it deep to him. Love the fact that he just went on this one, a pure go route, and great hands to haul it in, to secure the catch, tumble around. Phenomenal. Anytime you get a 49-yard gain for an explosive play, that gets the people on their feet, and the swamp was on its feet. A loud cheer on that one. And of course, the last one, it literally was the last one that sealed the game. Big man INT, Makai Burrow. Listen, to hear his post game talk there at the podium, it was awesome. He thought about running it back, but knew all he had to do was slide. And
Yes.
one of the reporters asked him, where did you slide? Oh man, back in high school, I got good hands. I got soft hands. I caught an interception or two, but this one's probably the biggest of my career. Not probably, it is right
Yeah.
now. Who knows if another one's coming? But with agility like that, with the ability to turn and have hands like that, Makai, great job to seal the deal. So those are my three. Oh my's, B. What you got?
Yep, and we're going to share some as usual. Though I have to call out that last week not sharing any was rather remarkable.
Yeah,
I
wild.
went
Yeah.
back. I didn't listen to every pod, but I'm not sure that's ever happened before that we had none in common. So that was
Don't
a pretty
think.
crazy thing last week. Not to my memory, can't swear to it, but I don't know that that's ever happened. Anyway, moving along. So my first one is where we're going to differ. I've got Baugh on the 19-yard TD run after a career high in rushing
Sure.
yards. I couldn't leave him off this list, and what a great run that was. Outstanding play to hit the gap, right? Make a man miss, and then find the seam that he could run by two more guys and get to the end zone. I mean, the kid is just continues to be everything you want and more out of a running back. I mean, I don't think there's a better running back in the SEC, and that is not orange and blue goggles speaking. It really isn't. The stuff he puts on film week in and week out is just first round draft pick worthy. Period. He's absolutely incredible. When you see, again, I've talked about it before, but I'm going to say it again, the combination of strength, speed, and elusiveness, you just do not see that. I love watching him, and I look forward to seeing him every week, hopefully beyond that as well, right? Because he will be a target. Count on it, right? This is going to be one that we're going to have to work our butts off to hang on to, and God, I hope we do, because man, I want more than 5 more games, maybe 6, but we'll get to that conversation later. But at least 5 more. So really hopeful to see what he can do in possibly a more dynamic offense, but more on that later. All right, number 2. This is where we start coming aligned here. VB3. I had it as a 50-yard catch. You had it 49. Tomato, tomato, close enough. When your running back is
Exactly.
playing well, right? When your running back is playing well, play action works in any offense, even Napier's. And that's what we saw here, right? So the safety gets sucked in by the play action, right? And VB3 beats his man as he usually does. And then we get a beautiful ball from DJ on this one, right? This is the deep ball that we've been waiting on out of DJ. Absolutely perfect. Hits him in stride. Magic, right? That's the one. That's that throw that I can go back to and talk about those magic deep balls from DJ. That's what I've been waiting to see. Now, granted, he hasn't had a ton of opportunities to throw those, but nonetheless, this is what you want to see more of moving forward. Hopefully we will, but obviously that is the bread and butter of what this offense theoretically should produce, right? Because again, when you run the ball well, that's what play action does. So last but not least, you called it. Micah Burrow, INT for the win. I mean, if there's a bigger oh my in any game, I don't know what it is, right? Big man comes out, drops into coverage, saves the game, right? I had my concerns when we recorded our reaction on Saturday that this play could keep Billy in Gainesville.
Oh,
I
uh-huh.
really did. I really did. Thank goodness it didn't, quite frankly. So now I can really celebrate the play for its true greatness, right? I don't have to have any reservation about whether or not we hold on to him because of this, right? And
Wow.
again, not personal. It's just the awareness here was so awesome that he dropped back, watched the QB's eyes, and then made a heck of a play. Again, this ball didn't hit him in the chest, folks. He had to reach up
Oh,
behind and to the
yes.
side of his body, make a play on it, and then has the presence of mind to not try and run it back, right? Because we've seen flashback last year, LSU, sack fumble, right? Or I'm sorry, sack fumble, yes, against Nussmeier. Who recovers it? An offensive lineman, and he starts running with it. And then we knock it out of his hands because big men don't secure the ball that well historically. Not saying they can't, but it tends to be prone because they're not used to running with the football. Not in the case with Micah. Presence of mind to go down and secure the win, because you can't lose if you keep the ball. Unbelievably heady play. Just loved everything about it. It was athleticism. It was smart. It was everything you want to see. And it was out of a 350-pound defensive tackle. I mean, what else is there? What else is there? Save the game. Save the game without question. I mean, almost without question. Can't know if the guy will make the field goal, but they were certainly within range, and it was highly likely. So there you go. I do have an honorable mention I have to throw out here. I'll make it quick because it's technically a little cheating. But how about Trey Smack for two 50-plus yard field goals and making 5 field goals, even though he only got credit for 3. I said 6 on the reaction. That was wrong, so I need to correct myself because accuracy matters. And 5 made field goals in this game, even if 3 were the only ones that hit the scoreboard. But 2 from 50-plus. The dude is automatic since game 1. Just unbelievable. So with that, we'll close out on we will move on here to the offense in the Chomp segment. So first and foremost, the not so good. DJ Lagway, passer rating. Again, we use the NFL rating. I say it every week because it's more predictable, more reliable, less variance to it. Anything over 100 is good. We talked about last week that if you're close to 100, it's not necessarily bad. This wasn't close to 100, folks. 60.91. That's bad. That's not a good quarterback rating. On the flip side, 5.24 yards per carry, including sack yardage this time, because DJ did run the ball, as we mentioned, right? A couple scrambles, maybe even one design run, if I remember correctly. So definitely had some rushing yardage for him. So we left the sack yardage in because it is a good representation of what's going on. So 5.24 yards per carry is excellent. That's really, really good. And in fairness, does match with what Mississippi State was good at. Not so good against the run, pretty good against the pass. They pretty much put that on display. However, I will start here by talking about what I would consider to be the bad. So as watching this game and as texting Randy and others, I actually thought from my eye test initially live, right, before I went back and watched the film and looked at it and reviewed stats and everything else, that Lagway was better in this game than what we've seen from him pretty much all season. Mm-hmm. But the numbers don't bear that out. So hats off to you, sir, in your analysis live, because I think you were probably more right than I was on that. While I do think he made some plays in this game that we haven't seen him make many or possibly any of this season, that doesn't make up for what he did the rest of the game and what was lacking. Clearly, the numbers bear that out. And the film did too when I went back and watched it, for the record. Still a work in progress here, obviously, but I am so interested to see what the offense looks like moving forward under Russ and Ryan, as we have learned, if we can get DJ moving in a better direction. So that is a very interesting opportunity that we have. I'll leave it at opportunity for now, and we'll go from there. O-line. As always, got to talk about the offensive line, the most overlooked unit until they're bad. But when they're good, we don't talk about them. In this case, they were pretty good. Better in this game, but that also isn't saying a ton because Mississippi State does not have a high sack rate or a high TFL number at all, TFL being tackles for loss. But nonetheless, they certainly held their own in the run game, meaning the offensive line, and did a pretty decent job in pass pro as well. I'm not complaining here with the O-line play compared to some of the performances we've seen, right, from this group. But I'm still just shocked overall that they aren't better than they are, right? It's still just a head scratcher for me why this unit isn't just one of the best, if not the best parts of the offense, and they're not. Having said that, solid in this game, no complaints, and I'll take that because apparently that's as good as we're going to get this season. So that's that. Now we'll move on to the good, even though that was kind of good.
Kind of, yeah.
I kind of, compliment sandwiched them there, right?
That'll do.
The good here is Jaden Ball, as already mentioned, right? Career high, 23 carries, 150 yards and a touchdown, and would have been a lot more if a 60-yarder didn't get called back due to a hold by Trey. Was the correct call. We'll talk about some other calls that weren't correct, but we'll get there later. But this goes beyond just the stats. Jaden continues to just be a tackle-breaking machine. I know you mentioned something last week about his broken tackle rate. I saw something come up in the game that he's forced like 46 broken tackles before this game. It was like, or missed tackles. It was like sixth in the FBS overall, like ridiculous number. Um, he doesn't, but he doesn't just do it with strength, right? He can get you with that stiff arm, right? He can run through you, but he can also just juke cut and you're cooked. You're gonna jump right by him, or he'll hurdle you. I mean, the guy has everything in the arsenal. How do you stop that? Clearly you don't, for the record. Clearly you don't, because he's amazing. His ability to make guys miss at his size, right? At 230 plus and 6 foot 5'11", something in that neighborhood. Right. Actually, it might even be 6'1". Actually, I'd have to check the stat sheet on his overall specs there, if you will, because he is kind of like a machine. But the ability to do that and have the strength to complement it, it's just sensational. It's something you don't see often, borderline ever, honestly. And I just can't get enough of it. I already mentioned it. I talked about it enough in oh my, I won't continue to beat it to death, but I really enjoy watching him, as you can't tell. So overall, summation here for the offense was a decent showing from a player execution standpoint in this game. But for the final time, the last time I will ever have to say, we were, of course, held back by the limits of our play calling and design. And that may happen again at some point in Florida football. I'm sure that it probably will, but it won't be because of Billy again. Those days have passed, and I am very pleased that I can say that. What do you got for offense, my man?
Yeah, great overall take there. I like that. Based off what I was able to find, Ball is 6'1", 231.
There you go, 6'1".
6'1", 231. And that's the thing about him. He's elusive. He can joystick you. He can A button you. He can B button, or triangle, square, circle, all the above.
Yeah, all the above, man. He's got everything.
All the above. And that's the interesting thing, right? As far as we look at some of the earlier games this year, as far as why we did not, the games that he only had a 10 carry game, a 15 carry game, a 13 carry game. You have someone here who is a literal workhorse and who will give you the yards that you need in the time frame that you need it, and you don't go to that because you have a process. Okay, I'll leave that alone. Hey, anyways, it is what it is.
Oh,
right?
Man, it's gonna be fun the rest of the year throwing out these shots. Go ahead.
It should be. But anyways, to that end, yeah, and for the record, when I was looking at it, I had to take orange and blue goggles off, but also looking at Lagway, I think what I mentioned to you in text was he just didn't seem, he seemed more comfortable in general. But at the same time, I expected, homecoming, alumni there, all the hype, all the just everything, and to come out the way, again, not that he came out bad, but I just expected more energy. I saw the eyes, I saw the shoulders slouch a little bit. I saw the posture slouch a little bit, not having the same cadence and tonality at the line of scrimmage. Those are some of the things I was referring to. And you can tell when he's bothered because the play isn't there, especially when he sailed a lot of passes early. And that's the thing, VB3, that was an unfortunate play, but if that pass is another foot to a foot and a half lower, VB3 has a cleaner catch and maybe doesn't go down as hard. It doesn't have an AC sprain. You've got that issue there hitting, the pass to, Amir Jackson on the first drive. That should be a touchdown. Sailed over. A pass to Sturdivant. Sailed over. A pass to, and anyways, I digress. All I'm saying is he didn't seem to have the killer instinct. Now, again, he went 20 for 34. It's 58.8% completion percentage. Right.
Yeah, and that is well below his season average, though, to your point.
That's the catch. It's well below the season average. So 280 yards, great. 0 touchdowns in the air, 2 INTs. And obviously the QBR suffered with 0 TDs and 2 INTs, despite the long of 49 or 50 yards to VB3, either way. And of course, we'll throw in 2 sacks there because I absolutely believe one was definitely his fault. The other one, again, you look at the way that he held onto the football, especially on the first play, the first interception. That ball should have been out in a half a second to a full second sooner. If that ball's out sooner, it's not a pick, it's a touchdown. So anyways, that is that. outside of that, Jaden Baugh, 23 carries, 150 yards. His long was 19, as you alluded to. That one actually, that was in the contentions for my oh my. I had to drop it. But 6.5 yards a carry. Absolute beast. I mean, could you believe this kid was a quarterback in high school and a running back and a safety and a defensive lineman and a kicker? What? It's unreal to see what he's capable of. Absolutely unreal. And I'm sure he still has more in the tank. It's just a matter of how we're going to use him. Right? Vernell Brown, 5 receptions, 95 yards. That long of 49 or 50. We'll just round up, call it 50. J. Michael Sturdivant, 3 receptions, 43 yards, a long of 20. Aiden Mizell, 2 receptions, 30 yards, a long of 19. TJ Abrams, hey, look, TJ Abrams sighting. 1 reception, 1 target, 1 reception, 26 yards, and that long was his 26. Dallas, 2 for 24, a long of 12. Hayden, Ball also caught a pass. Amir caught a pass. That's amazing.
Yep.
8 different receivers caught a pass.
Yep.
Very nice to see the variation there. And that's all I'll say about that's nice about the offense. 25 first downs to 22 first downs. Okay, not a big discrepancy there. 172 rushing yards. 172. And how much did Ball have? Yeah, exactly.
150. Yeah, exactly.
Great to see Katie come in there and get some touches, but at the end of the day, not as effective as Jaden. That's okay. 280 yards passing. Again, it probably should have been closer to 310. That's fine. It is what it is. 452 yards offensive output. Okay, great.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. Mississippi State did have 12 more plays than we did. So we had 68 plays. They had 80.
Yeah.
68 plays. Another game sub 70 plays.
So I saw 71 on a different tracker. So who knows? Who knows?
Okay, either way, still close to 70. Not near what we should be, right? But then again, we are playing a modified form of chess, not even checkers. So anyways, there's that. Time of possession, we lost the time of possession battle, folks. Albeit
yes,
50 seconds.
That's pretty shocking. That's pretty shocking against a hurry up team that doesn't convert third down well. It's pretty shocking that you lose TOP. I mean, we talked about, obviously we'll get to keep it or pitch it review later, but I obviously totally screwed that one up. I thought that would be a slam dunk for us. And Anyway,
we're top 20 in the nation in TOP coming into this game. Okay, averaging over 32, and then the next thing you know, right, with Mississippi State, they're probably averaging, I think the number was 25, and they skirt out.
Something. Yep.
Right, they skirt out 30 in 5 seconds. We're at 29:55. The biggest discrepancy, first quarter, they held the ball 9 minutes and change. We only held it 5.
Yep.
Second quarter and third quarter were pretty even. Fourth quarter was dead even. Minus 10 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds. No big deal. Mississippi State 8 of 15 on third. We only had 4 of 11 on third down.
Yeah. No kidding.
Big deficiency there.
Shocking.
Right?
We'll talk about that later too. Yeah.
And again, this number's kind of deceptive, but 4 for 4 in the red zone. Yeah. Okay. 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. Probably should have been 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns instead of 2 and 2. And of course, 4.
Except one of those field goals ended up not being from the red zone, but we'll talk about that later.
Correct. So again, folks, at the end of the day, I was hoping for a lot of big things in this game, right? Mississippi State, but now again, much improved. They were not the 2-10 team they were last year. Kudos to Jeff Libby. We'll give them a flower.
But they still can't win a game in the SEC.
But they still can't. Correct. So you've got that. Secondly, it was homecoming, or as the cool kids are calling it nowadays, HOCO. I expected a much bigger game. I expected over 500 yards of offense. I expected about 38 points on the board. I expected us coming there absolutely hyped out of our minds. And I'll talk about another section in the shop segment. But at the end of the day, the offense was serviceable. And the other thing that's a shame to see is the fact that we scored in every quarter but the third quarter. Put a goose egg coming out of halftime. And it's a shame to see, and again, the last time we'll have to talk about it, hopefully, it's a shame to see the offense sputter, right? It's almost like you've got a V8 engine and you've got a misfire on cylinder 3 on cylinder 5. Not that I've ever had that before. And we continue to misfire because of the inefficiencies within the offensive scheme. B, you had a great analysis. I'm leaving it there. But outside of that, I hope for so much more. But at the end of the day, not going to complain about a win, especially the way in which we won. Yeah, we got a few things to correct there, but a win is a win, especially on homecoming. Because I remember being at a game years ago against Georgia Southern or whoever they were, that put up 400 plus yards of rushing, didn't complete a single pass, and beat us on homecoming. So
Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. So yes, it could be worse. It could be worse. Yeah, a lot of people have short memories these days, and there have been worse times than this for sure. Like
yeah,
we're in a not so fun spot right now, but it's been worse. I remember many a times when it has been more than I would care to remember. But yeah. So no, good stuff there. I like some of those call outs for sure. So let's move it along. Let's talk defense. Gator bait. Let's go.
man, this I made the comment. So I had two people ask me about this B from the First Bites pod. What do you mean it was you and B out there? I said, well, truth be told, look at it. Truth be told, like how I threw that in there. Um, we had a lot of injuries, folks. We had when you've got
Yeah.
four starters down, okay, and
Yep.
you have I get it. Bang Hanks is a legacy kid, but first major, quote unquote plate appearance, right? Almost like getting called up to the majors. That was what it was, and of course a slew of other players. But either way, let me get to the numbers. Shapen's QBR 83.56.
So not great.
83. Not that great, right? 24 out of 36, 324 yards though, so that looked
Mhm.
attractive. However, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, as we know, and 4 sacks. So that definitely dropped that number. Higher than Lagway's, but still not good. Um, let's go to the ground game. 3.27 yards per carry. Okay. Now, that is including sack yards because Shapen's a mobile quarterback. But at the end of the day, guess who it was? It was Devon Booth who lit us up 22 carries, 105 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. He had himself a game. So that was that. I'm going to get to a couple of numbers here on the defense because overall, the defense, for what it was, did some great things. Because when you look at the overall score, they held Mississippi State after that opening drive, held Mississippi scoreless in the second, scoreless in the third, gave up a fluky 14 in the fourth, but
Yeah,
come back
for
to that.
sure. For
Come back
sure.
to that. Let me do a couple of other call outs here. Alfonso Allen, we said him, we talked about him Saturday
Yes,
night.
indeed.
15 total tackles, 8 solo, 7 assisted. Okay, when I look at the numbers overall, 15 total tackles out of the team's 79 total tackles. He was 19% of the total team's tackles. Holy
That,
cow.
that dude's a throwback, man. I haven't seen a
Yeah,
safety and run fit tackle like him in 20 years.
in
Seriously.
a
Like
minute.
that is a
Exactly.
throwback kid right there, man. I didn't even like I'm like, who is that running around out there? I had to go look up the number and I'm like, Alfonso Allen. Okay. Like that is wild. I had no idea. I mean, total throwback. Liability and coverage for sure. But
Yeah.
in run fit, holy cow, man. Like give me that all day. That's some Ronnie Lott throwback stuff in run coverage, man. That's phenomenal.
Oh gosh, he had himself a game. Absolutely. Especially I mentioned this latter night, but in the first quarter, 7 tackles alone. Good night.
Yeah,
Good
phenomenal.
night. So that was
Phenomenal.
what it was. Bryce Thornton, 7 total tackles. Jaden Robinson, 7 total tackles. Laganza, Shady, Hayward, 6 total
Yes.
tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss. Miles Graham.
Shady.
Yep. Miles Graham, 6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Cameron James, 6 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks.
Yes, indeed.
Cameron,
Indeed.
Aaron Childs, Bang Hanks, Brian Taylor Jr., all 5 tackles each. Brian Taylor, another 1.5 tackles for loss and half a sack.
Yep.
Okay, Kofi Asari, a tackle for loss and a sack.
Yep.
Phenomenal job up front. Okay, so Did a lot of things great. We got into the backfield a lot, hence the sack numbers, hence the tackles for loss numbers. So that was phenomenal there. Obviously, it was only one interception, but it was the biggest interception we've seen in a while. That sealed the game, especially with under 30 seconds to go. That was phenomenal. Folks, at the end of the first quarter, we had a banged up Devin Moore and we had a banged up Sharif Denson.
Yep, with Cormani already out, with obviously Dijon out for probably the season.
Yep.
And so at corner, you're now down to one second string and the rest third string guys. That's where we're
Pretty
at.
much.
So
Pretty much. And three freshmen and a partridge and a pear tree.
yeah.
So when I get into these numbers, there's a reason why. Again, not excusing them, but there is a reason why. Brennan Thompson, 7 receptions, 155 yards along of 48 yards.
Yeah.
Anthony Evans, 11 receptions, 107 yards, 48 yards, long catch. So you can tell over the top, you can tell throughout the middle, you can tell on the sides, 10 plus yards downfield, we had massive liabilities all over the field. Up front, was able to disguise it as best as they could with the pressures, with the simulated pressures, of course. We saw a lot more of this be in recent games, but I love what Ron does. He loads up the left side of the line with 2 guys. They look like they're going to blitz, They step forward, they step back, and you've got one guy blitzing on the right edge and another guy blitzing in the middle, as if it's like where you thought they were going to drop back in coverage, right?
Yep.
I love seeing that look from Ron. I love how he varies the way where he positions some of the guys. So that did very well. That got Shapen kind of head spin a little bit. So that was great. And the other thing is when you look at what this defense has done as a whole, the past couple of games, they've given up some, they've given a lot more yardage. They gave up a score in the first quarter. If you remember, in the first 5 games of the season, they hadn't given up a score in the first quarter. Yep. Right. So giving up some bigger plays, some bigger explosives. Again, that secondary made a difference. And guess what? We've got a lot of kids that are banged up right now. Hence why we're going into the depth chart in a big, big way to get more coverage. And guess what? It's going to take time for these guys to come around. They're athletic, right? They're a lot of 3-star, 4-star guys. You know, maybe one can argue 1 5-star. But at the end of the day,
Hanks is close.
Right? At the end of the day, they need more reps and it's going to take time. So it is what it is. Outside of that, the other tough thing for me to see outside of the big play yardage, I've called him out before and I don't mean to do it like this, but where in the world is Tyreek Sapp?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm not sure. Maybe it's one of those things where, like Gums, right? We know Gums is hurt. He's playing hurt. He's playing with a hip flexor. He's playing with a core issue. He's playing with a bruised elbow. Is Tyreek Sapp hurt or maybe it's because he's wearing the biker shorts. Maybe he needs more padding. Maybe he needs a knee brace. Maybe he needs a DonJoy. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Tyreek Sapp, for everything that he amped up for this season to be, the reason he came back, the reason he wanted to play with his boys. I know Caleb is out for the season, but at the end of the day, Tyreek should be filling in a big, big way. And for whatever reason, I can't find him on the field, and it's bothersome to me.
So I wonder if so it's a good call out. I wonder if Caleb does affect that, right? Because Caleb was getting double teamed every single play, right? And still beating it, right? So that's how well he was playing there. Not every time, but with some consistency,
the majority,
right? And when you have that, right, you have to put a lot of attention to the interior of the line. Well, that frees up one-on-one matchups every time for your guys on the edge. We're not getting that now. I'm not saying that we're not getting one-on-one ever on the edge. We are. But
we are.
It's a different look there. And you have the ability to go inside or outside if you're the edge rusher. We don't have that right now. They can only win on the outside. If they win on the inside, they're getting bottled up because there's extra help there because they're not double teaming, right? The interior guards, because we don't have that same push inside. I do think that's affecting it to a degree. That's not to excuse it, though, in terms of like saying that, it's not his fault or whatever. I agree with you. He's been less of a factor than I feel like he should have been for sure. Really do think we should have seen more out of Tyreek. he's undersized to play the position he's trying to play, but his motor has always been a winner, and
Exactly.
obviously he's got the strength for it. So you typically see guys like that still win enough. We haven't seen him win enough, and that's been disappointing. So I agree with your analysis there,
So
especially on Tyreek.
exactly, and not to call him out, but B, in the past 3 games, he has 0 QB hurries.
Yeah, well,
0.
he should have had one in this game, and I'll talk about that later. But
Anyways,
yes,
yes,
that's
talk
fair.
about it. But
That's
either way,
fair.
the defense was serviceable. We had a lot of guys in. Obviously, Mekhi Burrow, can't say enough about him sealing the deal. But a lot of injuries, a lot of young bodies in there. It was serviceable, respectable. We got out of there with a win on Hoko. I'll leave it at that. What you got, B?
Yeah, well said, man. Nice take. I like the analysis there for sure. So once again here, though, I have to say I feel like the defense started a little slow in this game, and not just because we gave up the score on the opening drive, but because we just had some issues again with explosives down the field, right? In general. Now, some of that can be excused by the difficult situation in the secondary that we're facing, right, from a health standpoint. But I do struggle to understand why our safeties cannot contain the deep ball better than they are. They're out of position on these passes very often, right? Now, I saw some examples where play action was an issue, right, for them as well, just like it was for Mississippi State when we ran it, right? And this is a good running team. So play action works, again, in any offense, right? When you run the ball well, play action works, period. It's just a thing, right? But there are other times where I just don't know what they're doing. They're not reacting quickly enough. They're like watching the QB's eyes and not the receiver that's running by them. It's not a Trey Dean situation, let's be clear, where they're just standing there like they don't know that they're on a football
Oh
field.
no, a Trey Dean
But
reference.
yeah, sorry, but that's rough. But ultimately they are just not reacting quick enough. They're not sensing the play around them, and they're not getting deep enough quickly enough, and therefore they're getting beat. What's especially weird about this to me is that Ron Roberts focuses on this. He has a propensity to guard against those types of plays. He hates giving up explosives. That's a linchpin of his defense is don't give up the big play. And we should have given up more to Texas. They missed a lot of throws. The guys were wide open. We could have given up more to A&M, though we gave up a few. We gave up several in this game, but could have given up more. The guys were wide open consistently. You saw it, right? And time again, you see a corner that gets beat, which happens, especially against fast receivers, and there's no safety help over the top. Where is it? Where is the player? Again, hats off to Bryce Thornton on the touchdown save in this game where he came back and made the play to save that touchdown. That was clearly going to be a 6. Heck of a play. But we're not seeing near enough of that. And really, he shouldn't have had to recover like that in the first place. Why aren't they deeper to begin with? Again, this defense, for those that don't know, is we play a lot of 2 deep safety in this defense.
Yes.
2 deep safety should help you guard against those types of things happening. And it's not working. Why? I don't know. I don't have answers for that. I know we also play what's called a split safety concept, which means one safety can play kind of a different coverage than the other safety. That's what that means. I don't know if that's potentially contributing because they're maybe getting confused about what their assignments are. But ultimately, if that's the case, then we need to simplify this thing, right? We need to go back to last year, make it simpler, make it easier, and get this buttoned up because this is 3 games in a row now where we have had way too many guys way too open, way too far down the field. And that can't continue because when you get up against teams like Ole Miss and Tennessee later in the season, we are going to get cooked. Cooked. Those teams, regardless of how you feel about Lane and whether or not you want him to come, those teams are really good at beating you deep. Really good at it. Tennessee especially, right? But Ole Miss is very good at it too. And if we have a liability in coverage for those balls and we continue to allow that as the season moves along here, watch out. Watch out. That's a real problem against those particular teams on the schedule. It potentially even could be an issue against Florida State. I
Yeah.
don't like saying that, but it's true. That offense likes to go vertical as well. So you better watch out because you've got teams that are on the schedule remaining. Those offenses are not necessarily as scary as some of the offenses we've played already, but
Hmm.
those offenses will take you deep. And if you're not ready for it, it's an issue. So that's a real concern that I'm seeing kind of pop up here, that I don't like what I'm seeing on film. I don't like it at all. And it's not something that we saw, especially in the back half of last year when they started to clean some of this stuff up. So I don't know what's going on, but they got the bye week here. We got to change. We got a lot of, fluidity in the situation here. Let's get it cleaned up. Let's get it fixed. That's something I'm definitely looking for a change against when we show up for the cocktail party in Jacksonville. So on to something more positive. Front seven. Front seven, man, just continue to be absolutely excellent. It doesn't seem to matter who we have in there. At D-line, at linebacker, everybody's great. They bottle up the running backs. They consistently condense the pocket, whether they're getting sacks or not, right? They push it, they move it, they alter the pocket, even if they don't get to the QB. Make solid tackles. This unit, by far, clearly the strength of the defense, because the secondary is not. But the front seven is just really good. And Graham and Robinson, man, I know I say it every week, but about Graham anyway, but Robinson in this game too, just outstanding at linebacker. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for. I really don't.
What a
Go back
tandem.
and
Yeah.
for real, go back and watch this film. These guys are just everywhere. They're doing everything right. The gap discipline, the rushing lanes, the passing lane, the passing coverage. I mean, it's all there. They play. It's not perfect football, but man, it's close. They are so good, and they just keep doing it every week. I love watching it. You mentioned it. I'm going to call it out as well. Cam James. Cam James, captain for this game. Not sure if it's the first game he's ever been captain for, but it might be. I'm really not sure. I'd have to go check that. But because I know they do the rotating captain thing. But man, he proved his stripes as captain in this one. As you mentioned, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, and what was it? 5 tackles overall or 6?
6.
6 tackles overall. I mean, that is phenomenal. That's how you play like a captain for the game, man. Phenomenal stuff. And that was in only like 30 some odd snaps that he played in this game on defense. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous as a defensive lineman to get those kind of numbers in 30 some odd snaps. Consistently beating his man, was held a couple of times, or he would have gotten even more, by the way. A couple no calls on him as well, not as egregious as some of the other ones we saw, but definitely some questionable no calls on him too. So overall, again, I can't stress it enough. Secondary's beat up. Hopefully they get some time to get healthy. In the what is Strickland and Napier used to refer to it as, the off week? That's not it.
The open week.
The open week. Thank you. Yes. How about we just call it the bye week?
Yeah.
The open week. I don't know what that means, but anyway, hopefully we can get healthy here a little bit more in the secondary. I think a lot of these are kind of nickel dimers. Definitely think Castell can come back. Not sure how much that helps, but I think he can come back. Hopefully Devin Moore can come back. I hope that's not severe. Really would like to see him be able to come back and match up with Georgia's number 1 receiver, whose name just went out of my head again because I can't seem to hold on. Zachariah Branch, there it is. That's going to be an important matchup for us, but we'll get into that later. Ultimately, I hope we can get a little healthier there because the front seven can hold down the matchup in that game. We just need the secondary to be able to hold their own as well. So we'll see what happens. All right, moving on. Visor throw. As I mentioned, I'm going to handle this a little differently. I have 1 point, but it's kind of a culmination of things. So I'll call out the ridiculous 3rd and 1 call at the end of the game and the garbage 2-minute offense before the half as well, of course. The 12 personnel, not 12 personnel, the 12 people on the field for the 2-point conversion, the timeout we needed yet again to avoid another delay of game, etc. How about the 2 penalties to back Trace Mack up for the field goal that was in the red zone and became a 50-yarder? All of these things happened, yes, in this game alone. Just this game. What a wonderful microcosm of the Billy Napier era between the lines at the University of Florida. But ultimately, I have to say, it's so nice to know that this era is now behind us. I don't know what the future holds. None of us do at this point. But it is very, very hard for me to believe that it can be much worse than what we have seen between the lines and from whistle to whistle under this particular leadership. Billy did a lot of things well. We have given him credit for that. We have talked about that ad nauseum, frankly. But his ineptitude with this staff, or with this stuff, excuse me, was borderline mind-blowing. It is hard to imagine how this could have been much worse on a consistent basis. So again, while I wish him well, I will absolutely not in any way miss the combination of head-scratching, pulse-raising, confounding lack of execution, ironic, right, that we got on a week in and week out basis during the past 3.5 years. That's my visor throw. That's all I got, bud. What do you got?
Wow. Interesting. I had a similar point, but mine was towards the end after I mentioned everything.
That's fine. Go for it.
All I'm going to say is Gators' fifth possession, ball has a 60-yard run, called back, a touchdown run, called back. Amir Jackson's catch on the sideline, ruled incomplete, reviewed, overturned. Ball running right, only for 3 yards, sets up a 3rd and 7. Lagray runs left, gets caught up in a 4th and 5. Smack comes on for a 33-yard field goal. Good. Wait. Called back. Delay game. Now it's a 38-yard field goal. It was good. Called back. Hands to the face by George. Now a 50-plus yarder. Finally good. I like your take there. He actually made 2 more.
Yep. 2 more you got credit for.
Exactly. The Gators' sixth possession on their own 23 with 1:36 left to go in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
With 21 seconds to go before the interception, okay, at the Mississippi State 47-yard line. We took 1 minute and 15 seconds off the clock to go 30 yards.
Yep. And we ran it. And we ran it how many times? How many times did we run the ball?
How many times, B?
I mean, at least 3. I don't know in the whole sequence of plays, but at least 3.
2 times running the ball. We have had the chance to close out the first half. Even if we score 3, you close out the half with a score. You have a sense of urgency. Because guess what? You get the ball back in the third quarter. So guess what? You go 3 and 3, you get 6 points on the board. You go 3 and 7, you get 10 points on the board, right? Hey, what a concept. Sense of urgency. Let's double up possessions, right? No. By the way, coming out of halftime, let's look very flat and let's just do a 3 and out and give them back the ball because we're not ready to play yet. Okay?
Yep. The middle eight might be Napier's greatest weakness as a play caller, coach, whatever you want to call it, offensive coordinator, whatever. The middle 8, meaning the last 4 before halftime and the first 4 after halftime, is absolutely at his worst. Yes. Absolutely at his worst. And he's bad other times too, but those 8 minutes are just the worst.
Yes. After KD and the Wildcat, right? Start the fourth, going for 2. Illegal substitution, 12 on the field. We got to go kick a PAT.
Yeah, how are you getting that wrong in year 4? How?
Hey, by the way, I saw the camera glance over those mats a couple times with the 12. It's 12 circles. It's kind of funny. And of course, the Gators' last possession, 3rd and 2. You have a 150-yard back. I just did 150 for the night, career high. But you decide to call a play action rollout and take a sack to wind more time down on the clock. Complementary football? How about situational football, Billy? How about you fell on your sword, Billy? How about the sum of all of its parts? And guess what? This was an absolute, these 3-4 examples, this is an absolute summation of the past 3.5 years. And
No,
that's it.
this game really rolled it up. I mean, I think you said it, I said it. This game was a great, actually, kind of collage of
Yeah.
the Billy Napier greatest hits. I mean, just so much trash in this game that was just so unnecessary in terms of
And folks,
play calling, time management, right? Just all of that. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
no, I'm just saying, B, you're absolutely right. And folks, I'm telling you right now, we can say, what if, what if, what if, what if? You don't know he's going to do that. Folks, because he missed a field goal earlier, Mississippi State's field goal kicker. There's 22 seconds left, okay? They're going to bleed the clock down. It would have been somewhere between a 28 and a 32-yard field goal. Middle hash, middle right. That's all it took. That's all it took. And this game would have been another, I mean,
another
in the
L.
worst way.
Another
microcosm.
as I mentioned on First Bites, another
Yes.
loss
Yes.
snatched from the jaws of victory instead of the other way around.
Correct.
So thank you, Micah, for saving that from happening, because it was going to.
I'm telling you, the legend of Mekhi Burrow continues to grow and grow.
Indeed. I mean, I love the kid. He's great. He's really great. No more DUIs in Georgia. Stay away. Stay away.
No more, exactly.
All right.
All right. We got hatchlings, B.
So no news yet, other than they did do an article on kind of getting the thoughts on the coach being let go. Some guys didn't seem fazed by it at all. Other guys said it matters to them. So I think guys like KJ Ford, there was somebody else who kind of said, yeah, the coach does matter. Not necessarily Napier, but like more the position coach. There were a couple guys who had that comment. So I think you're probably going to see them go, and that's fine. We expect that, right? This is going to happen, right? When you fire the coach, this is where it's going to hurt you the most in terms of the class that you already have built, right? But your new coach that comes in, whoever that might be, will have the opportunity to get some more. And in the portal era, especially with the portal being later, right, in the season now in January, I think you have every opportunity to potentially build that back up with the portal. The key thing here right now for us is keeping what we have, because this is a young, talented roster, right? The additions that we need to make are going to be at offensive line, interior defensive line to a degree, because of no more Caleb, whether he's injured or not, right? And I think we're losing somebody else. Brian Taylor's going to go too. I believe he's a senior. So you're going to have some positions there. They're going to need to be filled. And I'd like to see some changes with safety and some things like that. We'll get into all that in another pod, obviously. But ultimately, the portal is going to be super important for whoever comes in. And we're going to lose some recruits. Like, it's going to happen. Just count on it, okay? We should also gain some with whoever comes in as well, assuming we get them in a timely manner and can do that. That could be tricky depending on who we hire. Could be. Timing could be an issue there. We'll see. But ultimately, I think whatever happens with this class, you live with it. And it's okay. Because you have a lot of talent here. And with the new rules, you have the ability to hold on to a lot of it. So you take a hit on this class and you live with it. And you let the portal make up for it. And those are my thoughts. What do you got?
I got a couple things. Quote from KJ Ford, I'm still with Florida 100%. Malik Morris, I'm here, whoever the coach is. I'm home. Justin Williams, the athlete out of Buchholz High School here right down the road. I know I want to be at the University of Florida. Will Griffin, of course, 2026 quarterback out of Jesuit in Tampa.
He's locked in.
100%, no matter what. You know it's in all kinds of weather. Carson Baker, running back, surprised face or shocked face emoji on Sunday. Javari Lucas posted, whoa, Genev Carr, broken heart emoji. All right. So yeah, it's felt, and I agree with you. Folks, if you are expecting to retain all 19, I think that's an unrealistic expectation. No disrespect.
For sure.
We just have to understand.
I must have seen something different on Ford than you did. Maybe I misread who the quote was from or something, because I saw something about him saying the coach was important to him. So maybe I misread who the quote was from. So apologies if I mixed that up.
You're okay. I'm getting my source is X on this Twitter.
I
So
think mine was too. So I must have maybe I missed up who said what in terms of it was about a position coach with I thought him, but maybe it was somebody else and I mixed them up. It's possible.
okay, okay, I got you. Let me see here. Just a trio of Florida commits shared the same message with Bender as well. Highly coveted four-star wide receiver Just Williams, one of the recruits. I'm here, whoever the coach is.
Yeah, there was a lot of that for sure. And
Okay.
in fairness, there was more of that, I feel like, than there was anything about the coach. Now, that
Yes.
could just be for now, right? And they're playing the wait and see game. That's possible too. So again, there could be a lot of changes here. Again,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
live with it. You have to live with it on this, and it is what it is. So
It is, so, but either way, it's interesting to see some of the reaction to. To be honest with you, I thought there was going to be, I don't want to say a mass exodus, but I thought come Monday this morning we'd have had three or four already say, oh well, okay, too bad, so sad, I'm gone, and
yeah, the
that's
fact that
that.
we don't have any decommits yet is interesting. I will say that. I mean, not that they should have committed somewhere else yet, but
Correct.
I would look for a couple in the next few weeks for sure. I think that's likely, but we'll see what happens.
We will, and the offensive tackle, our big tackle Tyler Chikuyem, yeah, he's going to take a visit to North Carolina, and the Belichick fairyland. Good luck with that. And
Yeah.
then KJ Ford just found out he is taking a visit to USC, but as he's taking that visit to USC, he's still wearing a Florida Gators hat. But anyways, that is what it is. We'll leave it there for now.
All right, fair enough. Um, Pride of Sunshine. I'll get us started here. Actually, no, why don't you get us started here? Go for it.
Copy that. The honorary Mr. Two Bits. I know this is probably something we should have done for home games dating back, and B and I talked about it. But honorary Two Bits, we want to shout out Lauren Hager. For those of you who
Yes.
remember her, she played here a decade ago. Softball pitcher. She led the University of Florida to back-to-back natties for the women. I saw her pitch. I saw her play. Phenomenal. Absolutely. She a Gator through and through. She embodied the heart of that team, the heart and soul, and she was great. She was also inducted into the UF Hall of Fame this homecoming weekend.
Oh,
So
nice.
kudos to her. Hats off there. And this was her big quote. Out of all the Hall of Fame inductees, they asked me, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. It may be the coolest thing I've ever been asked to do. I may black out in front of the whole stadium. LOL. So awesome. A great Gator through and through. Great representation. She was phenomenal on the mound, phenomenal in the field. So Lauren Hager, great honorary Mr. Two Bits. So there's that. I'm really tired of other teams not just eating Gator, but doing the Gator chomp and getting away with it. Okay,
Yeah, for
like
real.
like the backup quarterback, the dual threat quarterback coming in from Mississippi State there on that first possession, that first touchdown. I just I guess I'm not going to say this is an exact equivalent, but now I understand how Longhorn fans feel about the Hook'em Horns going upside down. But that is what it is. But I just hate seeing it, and I can't wait till we shut some people up about doing the Gator chomp. There's that. And the last thing I'll say is glad to see the players in support of Billy in lieu of the firing. Hayden Hansen came out, made a post. Burrow came out, made a post. Lagway came out, said some things. Ball came out, said some things. Even Harrison Bailey came here as a transfer and said a lot of great things about Billy and things like that. So again, folks, good person, good man, good infrastructure, good things. But from X's and O's standpoint, needed to have somebody else write the X's and O's. And the last thing I'll say in Pride of the Sunshine is I can't wait until we get back to a killer instinct, especially on the offensive side of the football. I feel like we've lost that killer instinct. We've lost that love and feeling. We need to get it back. Let's now work on getting it back. What you got, B?
I like the reference there. So I don't have this in my notes, but I'll play off you here. The Gator Chomp thing doesn't bother me that much because I think it's funny in a way because they don't have their own thing. So they have to
Okay.
do ours because they don't
Okay.
have their own. So like you have to mimic our thing to try and make fun of us because you don't have your own thing. And that's sad for you. So
Touche.
sorry. Sorry that you don't have your own thing. So, it's cool. We do, and sucks to be you. So that's the way I feel about that. It's never really bothered me. It really hasn't. I actually think it's kind of funny sometimes. So I get the hanger for it. I do. But it doesn't get to me the same way that you're saying there. Because again, I look, what is imitation is a sincerest form of flattery, right? So there you go. So they're complimenting us
Okay.
without meaning to. So there you go. All right. So here are my thoughts on Friday the Sunshine. Now is when we find out how right we were about this group and what Napier did do so well here,
Yeah.
or not. Or if we were wrong about all of it. This is when we find out right now. This is when we find out is moving forward in the rest of this season. We have a super interesting opportunity here to mix things up for the rest of the season. Not just with play calling, not just with we'll talk about all that stuff, but we have an interesting opportunity to let this team's camaraderie and culture shine through for the rest of the year that they already had, right? Do things we haven't done week in and week out. Play more to our strengths. And if we can get some guys back from injuries, I already mentioned, because that will be important, maybe make a little bit of noise here before the end of the season. That's far from a guarantee. It is far from a certainty, but there's definitely a chance for it. You don't believe me? Take a look at UCLA. Prime example. They were 0-4 and looked like an FBS team could beat them. They fired, or an FCS team, excuse me, could beat them. They fired their head coach. They're now 3-0, including that win over Penn State that helped get Franklin fired. Which, by the way, if we hire Franklin, so help me God, but we'll get there later. But teams can do unexpected things when they get a change that makes sense for them as a unit. And I would certainly say that we have the opportunity for that to be the case here. So, if this group has the culture that we think they do, and we really think they do, we're borderline certain of it, you might see this unit rally. You might see these guys really open it up and go for broke.
For each other, yeah.
For each other, exactly. Not for the coach, for each other. Because now that's what they have left to play for. Not that they don't care about the coaches they still have left, but now it's all about the team. And if you got a good unit here, oh, buddy. And if you take the reins off, which they might, watch out. It could get fun. I'm not trying to get too hyped. I'm not trying to get too overexcited. We've been wrong before, God knows, about this team and what could happen. But I think it's fully possible that the reason we were wrong might have been one Billy Napier. It's very possible, unfortunately, but it is possible. So we'll see what happens. But I'm interested. All right, moving on. Officiating. Move back. You suck. And as I've said many times, boy, did they suck. Rough night with this crew. A lot of questions. Not a lot of answers. I did think, as I mentioned, they got some of the bigger calls in this game right. I will say that. They got a few big ones correct. But again, man, did they miss a ton. And they did also get a couple wrong as well. As per usual, I try to pick two that really stood out to me. So the first one is going to be one that I think is pretty obvious. The second one is much more obscure, but I think very significant. First one, you know what's coming here because we texted about it at length. Offensive pass interference on Dallas Wilson. I am floored by this call. It was offensive, all right. I cannot believe that they made this call. I cannot. Watch the replay back 3 times. And for the life of me, I could not see how they could even think about calling this offensive pass interference. Yes, there was some hand fighting between the two of them. But the only actual callable, flaggable, whatever you want to call it, infraction by either player without question, I mean, it's not close, was on the defensive side of the football. There was clearly a hold that prevented Dallas from getting back to the football on this play. There was nothing else that occurred that could have been flagged here. Really, really frustrating because it felt very much like the officials were being talked to by the sideline, the Mississippi State sideline, that is, and were very much talked into a call here that was not right. And it's not the first time we've seen something like this happen. And I just cannot abide it. It's just horrible. So be very interested to get your thoughts on that. The second one is much more obscure, as I mentioned. Not early, mid to late first quarter, 2nd and 8, 4:30 or so left, about 4:35 left. Sapp gets by his man. So we talked about Sapp not getting by his man and not getting pressures, right? Yeah. And gets in there to be able to put pressure on Shapen, and then absolutely just gets dramatically held. Everything but his jersey ripped off, puts his arm out and flails it at the quarterback, and you can clearly see that his other arm is being restrained. Shapen, of course, is able to escape because he's being held, gets out of the pocket, makes a throw, and they convert for a first down. I cannot even begin to tell you how frustrating this play was for me, not only because of the egregious nature of the no call for holding just in itself, but because, of course, in this situation, Shapen, being a mobile quarterback, is able to escape and then make a play and convert for a first. These are always difficult calls, but so much more so, I feel like, against mobile quarterbacks who can make a more dynamic play and really punish you as the opponent, right? Whichever side of the ball you're on.
Right.
I mean, I was just absolutely livid at this call, or lack thereof, in this case. So love to get your thoughts on those, and any thoughts you have. What's your take on the officials in this game?
Yeah, so I've got an issue here with Matt Loeffler. He's a veteran SEC official, and that's all I'm going to say.
and that's never a good thing.
No, Matt Loeffler has been in some controversial games, whether it be at Alabama, LSU, Auburn, back in the days, and he continues to. And anyways, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Gators' first drive.
He continues to.
Continues to. The Gators' first drive, there was a hold on Hayden Hansen as he was going out into the flat. Okay, it's probably the 4th play from scrimmage. Yeah, not called. Clear hold right across the jersey, big paw getting him, and nothing thrown. Side judge is probably 12 to 15 yards away. Didn't see it. Okay, didn't see it.
Well, maybe, but moving on.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is, which was comical to see, was on the touchdown pass to Hansen ruled incomplete. The crappy thing about this is the back judge signaled it incomplete, yet the lineman signaled it a touchdown. Okay, so folks, here's what's supposed to happen, especially if you have a ball that comes to your key or your side. Both officials who could potentially make that call, they give the look, right? Hey, what you got? Yeah, no, yeah. Do you have it? Because again, when I was a line judge in high school football, I know it's a little different. You have to see the ball cross. You have to make sure the ball does not hit the ground. And if you've got another official who's got a point of view or an angle better than you, you might want to defer, especially if you did not see it all the way. Comical to see one signal a touchdown, one signal incomplete. They're supposed to look at each other. They're supposed to confer. They did not. And of course, the replays didn't help. Right? Replays were absolutely terrible. The broadcast was terrible. The camera angles were terrible in as many weeks, back-to-back weeks. You know what it is, B? I know why. Apple just took away F1 from ESPN in a $700 million deal. So ESPN's on a budget, with a 4:15 afternoon game with 2 unranked SEC teams. There you go.
Yeah.
Solved it.
You're potentially not wrong on that one.
So anyways, that is what it is. But yeah, it's just a shame to see 2 different calls varied on the field. Doesn't look professional, doesn't look clean, doesn't look good. Adds adds to the adage of the SEC, $1 billion industry, yet nickel and dime officiating. Thank you, Josh Pate, for that.
Thank you, Josh
Anyways,
Pate. Yes, indeed.
yeah, the holding call on Trey Wilson, it negated Ball's 60-yard touchdown run. Bang, bang. But folks, believe it or not, the call was right.
Yeah, it's the right
Trey
call.
all Trey had to do was keep his hands flat up against the jersey and not curl his fingers. He curled his fingers. It created an advantage. It was what it was. Okay, Mississippi State's 6th possession. Ben Hanks gets held on a 43-yard pass play. Okay. I'm sorry. Ben Hanks gets beat on a 43-yard pass play, right? But get this. The 76 on Mississippi State, he's got hands to the face and gums. Gums' helmet almost pops off. Not called. Not called. Mississippi
Awesome.
State gets, yeah. Mississippi State gets their first penalty, a false start, with under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Very intriguing. They did get the targeting call right on Tillman, right? The helmet contact.
Absolutely.
So that was what it was, right? And then Mississippi State's 11th possession, under 5 minutes to go in the fourth. You know where I'm going with this, B? A defensive pass interference on an uncatchable ball that sailed in the back of the end zone that had nothing to do with the play.
Yep, agreed.
Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close.
No. Would have been for the record, would have been defensive PI if the ball was catchable, but it wasn't.
It completely irrelevant. Correct. So to get back to your two, the OPI on Wilson shouldn't have been called. Should not have. They're both handsy. But again, was there a clear advantage created? Did Dallas Wilson push off? Yes. Was it an egregious push off to get so much space? No, not at all. Should have been a no call. No call. No call.
I mean, I'm going to agree to disagree with you there. I think it should have been defensive PI, but at the very least, it definitely shouldn't have been offensive. But that's fine. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, and then late first quarter, yeah, when Sapp got by, whenever you get held like that, and yes, some linemen want to flail, but at the end of the day, that was legit Sapp going, "Can somebody help me out here?"
Yeah,
and
for real.
It's not just it's the insult to the injury, right? Because look at the big completion for first down that later on led to.
It didn't lead to anything. It didn't lead to points, but still.
It didn't, but it's the opportunity that they had a definite opportunity to score if, we didn't have a wrecking ball in Alfonso out come down the line. So
right.
That was what it was. But yeah, tough officiating segment. Not that it had to do with the outcome of the game, but yes, a lot of missed calls in this game.
Yeah, and that's a good point. We should probably relate it back to outcome. We were doing that more last year, or I was, and I don't think it affected it this time, but it was close. It could have. It was borderline for sure. So good call outs there. Always appreciate your insight there. And even though I do disagree with you on that one, your insight is still appreciated. And I probably shouldn't disagree with you because you know more than me on that, and I should probably shut up. So moving on.
No, hey man, you're good, and that's the thing, right? That's how tough it is, folks. And again, in the high school level, we got 5 on the field. In the playoffs, we have 7. Keep in mind, in NCAA, they have 8 on the field, plus eyes in the booth, plus national video replay somewhere in Alabama.
In theory.
Is it Birmingham? Whatever.
In theory. So they tell us. All right.
So they tell us.
All right. Wrap us up, man. Where do we go from here? Because this is now a very interesting conversation. So give me your thoughts. I'm extremely interested to know.
Billy G. Billy G's our interim.
Yeah,
Russ Callaway.
I dig it.
Play caller.
I dig it. No, not. As recently revealed, Russ Callaway, not the play caller. Ryan O'Hara, the play caller.
My apologies. Yes. I knew
which
that.
is super weird. Which is super weird for the record. In all kinds of weather, wrote an article about that this afternoon. Like, what does Russ Callaway do again? So it's a super good point. He will be involved with the scheming, but he will not be the play caller. So very weird situation there. But continue. Sorry, had to throw that out there.
No, I appreciate it. I did misspeak. Here's the thing, folks. Russ Callaway, named offensive coordinator, was our tight ends coach, was a wide receiver coach. Billy G comes as a wide receiver coach. He's a tight end coach / offensive assistant. Offensive assistant goes to offensive coordinator. INO, in name only.
Yep.
OCINO. No, I can't make anything out of that. Sorry.
OCINO, yes.
I guess. So anyways, Why Ryan O'Hara? Well, guess what, folks? If you haven't noticed, every time on the sideline, when DJ Lagway comes to the sideline, there is a guy with black frame glasses, salt and pepper beard, Gators hat. That's Ryan O'Hara. Ryan O'Hara has been there beside DJ along the way. When DJ
Yep.
goes to the sideline, on the bench, reviewing film, it's Ryan O'Hara holding the iPad or giving him the iPad. Ryan
Yep.
O'Hara has been there with him in film review countless hours. Ryan O'Hara has so much to do with his development, and based off a couple of other things that I've read here and there piecemealed from various sources, Ryan O'Hara knows exactly how to talk to DJ, knows exactly what he needs, knows exactly what his strengths are and weaknesses are, especially when he was down for spring camp and fall camp. They reviewed a lot of film together. So if those things hold to be true, very exciting. Will Russ be involved? Sure. No problem. But at the end of the day, Ryan knows DJ best right now out of anyone on the offensive side of the football. So hopefully he can calm him down. He can be the DJ whisperer and do whatever we need to do to get DJ back on track, get him feeling comfortable. And then Russ is going to work with Rob Sale, right, to make sure the offensive line is doing what they need to do with the schemes, especially if Billy G is as serious. When he made the comment earlier today regarding, well, folks, I think you'll see some things that are a little different. I think we've got a lot of players, and I'd like to be able to spread it out a little bit.
Christmas came early, if that's true.
Trying not to get my hopes up, B. We've been wrong about a lot of things, but that the excitement to hear that is absolutely palpable. The Napier regime is over. It's over. Folks, we got UGA, the largest outdoor cocktail party, if that's what it's still called, on November 1st.
Unofficially.
Right, exactly. at Kentucky on the 8th. Ole Miss, Oxford 11:15. Tennessee comes to the Swamp on 11:22. And FSU comes to the Swamp on 11:29. No more scared money don't make money. There's no more money left. No more excuses. No more spotting the ball. No more process oriented. Yeah. No more truth be told. No more complimentary football. Let's play for each other. Let's see what these guys are capable of. I love Billy G's take on spreading it out. I love DJ's commitment to being a Gator, being the best he can be, committed to his craft in the next 5 games and his guys.
Yep.
So
love that. Love
very
that
excited. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. What do you got, my man?
Yeah. So really, really solid takes on O'Hara there. Very interesting to see that they're doing it this way. And I do think, for what it's worth, that Callaway will be involved in the scheme and the design, right, of the game plan. That is what they're saying. It's just that O'Hara will call into DJ and talk to him, right, about the play, kind of help get him settled, right, and communicate with him about what's going on. And again, I think that's a voice he's comfortable with, right? So I think there's actually some wisdom in that. I actually probably maybe give hats off to Billy G for recognizing that might be a nice fit, right, for him. So it may be less about what Russ is doing or has done or whatever, and more about just finding the things that work for your quarterback who hasn't been his best this year, who needs a pick-me-up here, right? And you have the opportunity throughout the bye week here and moving into Georgia and the rest of the season to really give him a comfort in the headset, in the game, right? Throughout this. I think this could be really good. There's an opportunity here for this to be great. You're going to hear us use the word opportunity a lot through this pod, through the next pod when we talk more about this. I think it's really going to be a good thing. So as I already mentioned, I'm really interested. The word I'll use is interested to see how this team reacts to this change and moves on from here. There are a lot of possible avenues, right? But my questions are, will we see a new sense of freedom on offense to do more things that make sense and can throw a defense off balance, put them on their heels, Randy, as you like to say, and take advantage of the better playmakers that we have on this offense, right? That's the group that's not as banged up, right? So can we do things that can take advantage of that? Or
it's provocative.
It could be, or will this group still be very conservative and stick to what they know? We don't know. We don't know, right? We have to consider all alternatives. Will this still be a lot of, as you mentioned a couple of weeks back, frostbit, great value vanilla ice cream? I don't know. I hope not, but we don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping Billy takes that with him.
Yeah, I hope so too. Despite a lack of results, is that what we still see? Because that's what they know and what they're comfortable with, if you will, quote unquote. I don't think they're that comfortable with it as players, for the record. We saw that from DJ after A&M. He wasn't comfortable with any of that. He was pissed, right?
That's right.
He wanted to see change there. So we don't know what's going to come, but I think if we get a little player voice here, which I think we could for sure, and we get some coaches that are open to the idea of, hey, we got a lot of playmakers here. What can we do with them? How can we take advantage of that? How can we scheme this up a little bit differently than we have? And I have a hunch that this group of players in and of themselves feels like they have a lot to prove still, right? That they haven't shown the best version of themselves. And that could make them really dangerous given the right set of circumstances, which we may very well have now. Could be fun. Could be fun. Again, not gonna get over my skis, not gonna get too excited, but the possibility lives in Gainesville, and for the next 3 weeks, not in Gainesville, but nonetheless, the possibility lives. Either way, we get to find out. But I will say this to close out my thoughts on this. We may not beat Georgia, but I like our chances a whole lot better without Billy in the cocktail party than I do if he was still here. Sorry, not sorry. It's the truth.
Fair.
That's what I got. All right.
I like it.
We'll see what happens. All right, keep it or pitch it review only, because we do not have new picks as mentioned. Yeah, I went 2-1, very respectable. I'm making a comeback. I'm staging around except Randy went 3-0.
Unreal.
Kudos, my man. You are crushing it this year. Absolutely crushing it. A little rough start for you, but you have rallied and you are absolutely killing it. That brings me to 8-13, which is still not great after my couple of 0-3 weeks there. And you are 12-9. So very, very nice so far. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
So just a quick review. Florida ranked 38 in the nation in scoring defense coming into this game at 19.8 points per game, while Mississippi State was 47th in scoring offense at 33.7 points per game. Important to call that out. They were scoring 34 points per game coming into this. Gators will hold Mississippi State to less cowbell and under 25 points per game. We both kept that. We were both obviously right. Even if they had got that field goal, we still would have been right. So defense held their own in this game, even without the Micah interception. Hats off, great job. So very well done there. Number 2, Florida ranks 18th in the nation in time of possession at 32 minutes per game. We already alluded to this. Mississippi State was 131 at 25 minutes per game. Florida will control the clock and possess the football for more than 34 minutes. I bought into this. I thought we would do it. I thought we would run the ball well, which we did. I thought we would convert on third down better than we did, though, and that was the issue. I kept it. Randy pitched it. He got it right, because obviously we did not even win time of possession in this game, coming in at just under 30 minutes. Last but not least, Florida ranks 126th in the nation in third down conversion at 31.6%, and Mississippi State ranks 51st in the nation in third down conversion defense at 35.4%. Ironically, I think that's exactly what they gave up in this game. I'd have to do the math again, but the Gators will improve on their third down difficulties to at least 35% on third down. We did both keep this. We were both right, of course, and 4-4-11 comes out to 36.3. 36.4, so slightly better than what they were allowing, 1% better. So we did hit our target. We both kept it. We were both right. So again, there's your 2-1 and your 3-0 for Randy. So very nicely done. A quick note on the Sims. We said that we needed to convert better than 35% to win this game. We just beat that number, and we did win the game barely. So hats off. It's getting better. That's kind of 3 in a row
It
here
is.
that it's gotten right. So it's improving. It's improving. I'm glad to see it. We're getting better with the key stat. We're getting better with the predictive outcomes here. Not saying it's always going to pick the right winner. We don't look to it to do that, but we do think that the key stat, as far as indicating what could or couldn't be, should be pretty predictive in most cases. Not saying it can never be wrong, but that's 3 in a row now that it's been right on. So see what happens moving forward. But I like that we're getting to a better outcome. So with that, I will turn it over to you to wrap us up and talk about the next pod, and then we will sign off from there.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the therapy on this one. This is, although not too much therapy needed, but just more so, like I said, absolutely surreal that the Napier era experiment, whatever you want to call it, is over.
Yeah.
And if anything, palpable, excited, provocative. Let's see if this gets Gator Nation going. Let's see if this gets that all these skilled players, because I think we said when starting the season we had a first world problem at wide receiver and running back, and especially with wide receivers, I think we still have that problem. Now it's a matter of can
Less so
they
at running
be a
back with all the
problem?
injuries, but yeah.
Yeah. Can they be a problem for these opposing backs and corners and safety? So hopefully we can do that. What we'll do is we'll typically do rapid reaction, right? Saturday after the game. Of course, we have a bye week this week. If there's a coaching update, we will sure give our rapid reaction to that. However, we don't anticipate there's going to be a coach named this soon, especially when Mr. Strickland mentioned the privacy and the due diligence and everything that they will be doing.
Yep.
But that is what it is. Then, of course, Monday the 27th, we will do our bye week pod that Monday night, in which we'll take a look at the interim coaching staff as it pertains to the next 5 games, stabilizing the ship, and what to expect out of that group. So either way, it's going to be exciting to talk about.
I think we should also mention our thoughts on kind of where we go from here. We've also done like mid-season superlatives in the past. I think we'll throw that in as well. So a few different things that we'll look at for the bye week. I think some things to talk about and get into there. A little different than we've done in past seasons for that main mid-season bye week because of the coaching change. But overall, some similarities, but also some differences. So there you go.
Dealio. Yeah, look forward to that one. So
Absolutely.
Either way, Gator Nation, right? Wherever you are, whenever you may be listening, thank you for taking the time, and we will see you around, Gator Nation.